Show.
All right, everyone. Episode 150, the big 150 of the 580 show. Myself and Jason Frawley. Quiet episode this week without Dante.
What's up, folks? Thanks for listening this week.
Yep. 150 straight weeks. Crazy.
150.
But
Think about that. That's almost 3 years.
it's nuts. But the podcast started before we even had equipment in the gym, which is so funny. Like
It's pretty
580.
funny.
But no, this week, I think if you're tired of hearing the Strongman Corporation Nationals talk, this will probably be the last time we talk about it. You know,
Yep, time to move on after.
here and there, but not much more to say. You know, you weren't able to be on last week for all just with running around like crazy. So
Yep.
I want to talk to you about a little bit about that. I want to talk about the Rogue Invitational and just
Yep.
anything else that's going on in Strongman. But I guess first off, what was your experience like in Nationals? I guess, just overall experience, whatever you want to talk about. I didn't get to hear from you at all about it. So
Yeah. I mean, I made it to day 2 this year, so we made it through.
yeah.
I had a great day 1. I got 1 rep on the Trump log. I got the 55-pound bag, and I got the 3 stones quickly. Finished that event in the top 10. It was good. Obviously, it was awesome to see everybody that we know. Got to meet a lot of people that I've talked to on Instagram, which is great. Day 2, the events were. It's actually kind of funny because I felt more confident on the day 2 events, but I ended up doing way better on day 1.
Yeah. That's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, it's just weird, The wheelbarrow worked out fine for everybody except me. I mean, I'm just bad at grip.
Yeah.
But James came through with the wheelbarrow.
For sure.
And it held up really well. The rubber stones didn't come through, but I felt like, I mean, overall the stone, like it wasn't a rubberized stone, but the stones were fine.
Yeah.
And I think
only thing I'll say about the stones real quick, I don't think we talked, Dante and I don't think talked about it last week, but the thing about stones, it always kind of blows my mind that big shows, like in big, I mean, as far as like obviously the importance, like Nationals is a pretty high level ranking, but also just, I mean, this in the sense of volume. Nationals, you have almost 300 people, and having cement stones, I always think is kind of a tough call because stones break.
Yeah.
And that happened.
That happened. Now, I will say that stone did break. They did have another one for the 265 men.
Yeah.
So we had a backup, but
sure.
I mean,
it wasn't the end of the world.
What would have happened if that one broke too?
Yeah.
So that's like,
yeah, it's kind of, it's just like a stone, I've never had a stone break on me, but I've also never ran a show with 265 people or more, and it's like, that's kind of why I'm always surprised. Like I would go the stone of steel route or something like that, but who knows? But,
I mean, the up in the air about the events, like leading into, obviously as a competitor, obviously I want to know, right? Like I want, and it was theirs for the rules meeting. Like we said, we thought that would be the case. It was there. Everybody got to check them out. But like, I think everybody, you know how it is when you're going into a competition, you put so much time, so much effort, so much energy into prepping and training. And I want to make sure, and I want to know, and I want to be prepared. And I think everybody just has that heightened sense of awareness.
Yeah.
And it just brings out that like extra anxiety and nervousness that, I want to know. But like if you're good at the yoke to wheelbarrow, you're still going to do well in the event. If you're good at stones, you're still going to do well in the event, right? Like there's just that base level of preparedness that if you go in and you're good at the event, you're as strong as you can be, as fast as you can be, it's not going to be terribly different than what you can expect, I think. And that's how I felt.
No, for sure.
I felt like it wasn't a big curveball when we got there. It was like, okay, like this is what we're going to do,
Yeah, that's one. I mean, I obviously didn't compete just as a spectator, but I'll say that's like one compliment I have is nothing was changed.
Nope.
As far as like it was stones, it was up in the air, could be rubberized, but I'm sure everyone trained with just normal stones, right? So Nothing changing that. The yoke to wheelbarrow, like you said, it came through. Sandbag
Yeah.
toss, the kabuki deadlift. I thought that, that trap bar is awesome.
Yep.
So nothing. The power stairs were exactly
Had
as
no issues with the power stairs. I mean,
yeah.
I
That
yeah.
was an event. That was an event I was really surprised how well so many people did on.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just
Yeah. There was a very
so
tight. Now, obviously, I'm familiar with the scoring in my class, right?
mhm.
There was somebody like Kaczarski's a friend of ours, right?
Uh-huh.
And Kaczarski took 12th place in that event. He beat me by 6 seconds, I believe. Maybe it was 7. His
Mhm.
time was around 22 seconds. Mine was around 29. And Gus, it wasn't as good at power stairs. Tyler Gustafson was at like 36 seconds, I think. So
Mhm.
he was 7 seconds behind me. Kaczarski was 7 seconds ahead of me. Kaczarski beat me by 15 places. I beat
Oh
Gus by
wow.
2. I beat Gus by 2.
Wow.
So that shows you like
That
where that
top
line
level.
was, that
Yeah.
line of time. So like in an event like that, and that's one thing I did want to talk about was I felt like the weight selections were very effective. There was a true like elite that did really well in the events. There was a bottom end that didn't do so well in the events. And then in that middle there was plenty of room.
Yeah.
You know what I
For
mean? And
sure.
I felt like that got represented really well.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think too, like I don't know if you're just talking about power sets, but I think it was like that for
Every event,
because
not just
like
power saves. Yep.
when you were the first event of the weekend was sandbag toss, and you would see that clear line. It was like
Yep.
55 for you guys.
Yep.
And it was everyone, like you guys went from 60 people to freaking 20 after that.
Yep.
And it was like, and the Trump log I think was super well represented, where you saw maybe a third of the guys
Yeah.
and girls doing that, getting a rep on the heavy log, and then everyone else was missing that heavy log and then going to the lighter one or just starting at the lighter one. So
Yep.
I do think you're 100% right.
I felt like the weight selections were very like I'm sure James put I believe he did the weight matrix. I think he said that when we were on here
probably, yeah,
or when he was on here. Did a great job with those actual selections. I mean, every event had that one weight or that one object. Like, here it is. This is the separator. You either
for
get it, and
sure.
if you do get it, you're getting jumped a lot on points. If you don't, you're going to be chasing, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So,
I was kind of surprised at how many people finished those power stairs because it seemed like a lot of the field did, and it was so heavy
yeah,
that
yeah. But having 3 stairs helped too.
yeah, for sure. That
So
four
the other
stair,
thing that I noticed with the 3 stairs versus 4, the transitions weren't as important,
yeah, yeah.
which that's okay. I'm okay
Also
with that.
easier to transition.
Right, right.
So yeah,
So
no, it was a good weekend. It was just long. It's just
yeah, yeah,
the I guess the only gripe I have from a spectator was just the length. And
yeah,
I understand, people can say volunteer if you don't, but easier said than done. And I didn't want to volunteer just having so many people and athletes there. It was just too much, but just need more volunteers at a show like that,
yeah. I think the biggest critique that I would give was the opening weights on the deadlifts. They were too light.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I thought was so silly looking back at it was deadlifts and sandbag. Wait, no. I think it was just deadlifts. You guys all had like, so Frawley's class had like 60 something people.
Yeah,
And
52, I think.
oh, 52. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So 52 guys and maybe like 49 of those guys in that class were not taking the opening deadlift, but they still all had to walk through a single file line and say,
yeah.
not taking it,
No,
not
yeah,
taking it, not taking it,
yeah,
instead of just saying, like, okay, who's all taking this? Come to the front, and then we're going to move
yeah,
the weight up. It
yeah,
like probably added realistically like 30 to 45 minutes on that when it was
yeah.
just like a
I just
very,
think like the nature of the deadlift, like it's a trap bar deadlift. In my class, super heavyweight, and this cascades down to the other weight classes. I mean, our opening weight was 595, and I think pretty much everybody can agree that's probably a little bit
for
too
super
light.
heavyweight for
Now,
nationals. Right.
yes, now limiting to six attempts was a good idea.
Yep.
I don't think there was any, and that was their point in the rules meeting. They're like, look, if you got 6 attempts, you can figure it out, right? You'll figure out where your top rep is.
Right.
But I think if you bump that a little bit, that event goes a little bit quicker. You don't have to walk through the line the same way. You know, there were, I would say, 80% plus jump the first two or three. Actually, and me personally, the only reason I took the second jump was because I hadn't deadlifted in probably over a half hour. So I was like,
Right.
yeah, well, I have the attempt, so I'm going to take it. Right. And that you really don't want that to happen, I don't think.
Yeah. No, I'm
You
with you.
know,
I couldn't believe just watching that single foul line.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
guys go through and say, I'm not taking it, and then come through
Yeah.
again. I'm not taking it. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the only thing. Maybe a little light on that.
Yeah.
Um,
But that's a takeaway. That's a pretty easy fix for next time.
yeah. Equipment all held up
So
well, besides I mean, look, we
the
mentioned the
one
one
stone.
stone break,
Yeah.
but that sucks.
Yep.
But that's why I always like to see sandbags over stones,
Sure.
just for that reason.
Yeah.
But
But
no,
last
man.
year with the same how sandbags went last year, I get why they didn't want to do it.
I will
So
say James, in like the 2 or 3 years I've seen him like build equipment for different stuff, like he does a hell of a job.
sure.
Like his power stairs are also like he makes stuff because he was or is a strongman competitor. So he
Yeah.
makes stuff because he knows. Like,
Yep.
so he makes like a loading platform that is also a power stair,
Yep.
multi-use for travel. But I thought that yoke wheelbarrow came through pretty damn cool.
Held
Like,
up just fine. I
yeah,
mean,
no issues. I mean, hey, dude, 2 years ago when there was a wheelbarrow, those things did not hold up.
right.
And there were a ton of issues with the old wheelbarrow. So glad to see those hold up. Looked funny,
Yeah.
but worked great. So
Yeah.
um yeah, man. I mean, I don't really know what else happened in nationals. It was good. Were you surprised at the weights that won classes? Like your class. Do you think it was going to be a heavier deadlift?
I mean, 992 is pretty heavy. I
No,
would
for
have guessed.
sure. It's
Um,
heavy.
I would have guessed that somebody would have broken into 1,000, but the next jump was like 1036.
Yeah,
So like
that's
that's a pretty big jump. And if I remember right, there was a few guys left, and they all were just like, "Yeah, we're not doing that.
yeah.
We're not taking that toll on our body when we have an 850 yoke in the wheelbarrow and power stairs coming up too."
Yeah.
Um, I I think 992 is basically 1,000 pounds. I mean, if we're just being
Yeah.
completely
No, no,
honest and
for
candid,
sure.
right? I expected that we would get there. I actually thought that we might have seen a heavier sandbag, to be honest with you. I thought that the sandbag could have got to
That was
75.
gonna be my next question.
Yeah,
But
but
one guy successfully got the 70, right?
correct. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Shout out to him because that's
I think there was 4 or 5 that got to 65. So, but yeah, I mean,
yeah.
what the guy that won the middleweight deadlift, it was a speed rep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was really impressive. I don't
Yeah,
remember
no.
his name, but
Oh, he listens to the pod.
oh,
Otero. That's
yeah.
Otero. I forget. Actually, let me because dude, this guy was awesome. I met him. It was funny. His name's Chris Otero.
Okay.
And dude, like first thing on Friday, told me that he likes the pod, and I was like, "Oh man, that is so cool." And
That's
then he
awesome.
won. He won the deadlift with like nine something, like you said, like 917, and it was like
Yeah.
a speed pull for the
Yeah. He pulled it
231.
so fast. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, he's from New
So,
Mexico. Super, super great guy. So that was
yeah.
really cool. Um, no, man, I don't have much else to say about nationals.
Yeah.
If you didn't hear it last week, and next year's nationals is in Greenville, South Carolina.
Yep. September 21st is the weekend.
September 21st weekend. So it's bumped
Yep.
up a little bit, which I'm sure, you know, I have no idea if this is done strategically, but I think bumping it up a couple of weeks is way better because I think you get a better pool of athletes because some people that are going to do OSG don't worry about being too close to OSG now.
OSG, ASM for the 200s,
Yep.
and the big boys. Um, there was something else that I was going to say. It's gives you more time in between shows, so that you can do them if you want
For
to. I
sure. For
think it's a
sure.
good idea.
I
I
do
do.
too. I have no idea if that was done strategically, but Greenville, South Carolina, the only two events we know so far are a Denny Stone of some sort,
Wasn't that for the
and
Arnold?
or oh yeah, that's for the Arnold. Yeah,
Yeah.
the only events we know for the Arnold are a Denny Stone of some sort and a bag toss of some sort.
Yes. Yep.
So or a toss of some sort. They didn't even say bag, but
I think they said sandbag.
yeah, I can't. I
I
mean,
don't remember for sure, but I'm pretty sure they did.
yeah.
If
So
somebody was at the banquet and can comment that'd be great.
yeah, we'll be sure to update more. We are hosting the regionals again this upcoming year. I don't have an exact date yet. But yeah,
Probably around the same time frame.
yeah, June.
Yeah.
We're really looking forward to it. So I'm sure next couple weeks as we get more information, get all that stuff, we'll be able to kind of announce regionals, have it open for signups. I'd like, maybe right after Christmas time or before. Kind of sucks because I'd like to open it in December, but spending for people in that time of year is
Yeah.
difficult, so I don't want to do that.
I think waiting till the new year makes
Yeah,
sense.
we'll probably wait till the beginning of January, and we want to make it. I want to make it as big as possible this year.
Yep.
I being big in the sense of volume of lifters, but also big as far as the feel for the athletes.
Yep.
Just try to get better at every show we do. So yeah, just stay in touch for that, and for regionals this year. I don't even remember if I said it last week, but you don't have to qualify anymore. Strongman Corp. I don't know if Strongman Corp has officially announced that yet.
It's well known. People at Nationals were telling me about it. So
I kind of wish they would have given regionals 1 or 2 more years with the invite thing, but it wasn't working out for some locations. It was working out great for us. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised talking to people like just at local shows and stuff that are bummed about that now, because people were starting to like. I talked to 3 people today at a show, and all 3 people unrelated were like, "Oh man, I was liking like that, like making it worth it to get my regionals bid."
Oh,
so I don't know. I mean, maybe it would have caught on, maybe it wouldn't have. I don't know. We're still running regionals. It can be a bit, as a promoter, it's nice for me because now I can run one giant show.
Yeah.
Anyone can sign up. We still have Arnold bids, masters, teen, novice, all one show, all doing the same 5 events. So yeah,
I feel for those people, but I also can think of like specific to the 580 regional, probably 3 or 4 people that weren't allowed to compete because they didn't have a regional bid. And they were like, well, I want to compete at a regional. Now, they didn't go through the process, and I get that, right? So that's the trade-off of, well, they didn't do a local show, so I get it. But they were capable and they weren't allowed because they didn't have that bid. So
yeah. Well,
I can see both sides.
No, for sure. I kind of like it moving now, to be honest. And you just make it one huge show.
Yeah.
Any athlete, it is going to be a little heavier,
it's a regional.
So it's going to be heavier than if I was hosting just a normal show in the summer.
Reasonable.
So within reason though. So anyone can sign up. So even if you work going to qualify for regionals, you can just do it now. I did. Right. Last thing I'll say about it, I talked to Dion about regionals last weekend when I had her ear just for a second. I know, she's busy and stuff, but she did say, their goal this upcoming year is to really put more of an emphasis on regionals. As a organization, they want to highlight it more. Put videos out for upcoming regionals and really just promote it more.
Sure.
From the corporate side of Strongman Corp. So. That'll be cool. I'm excited, and we got Polar Express coming up. It's a big show. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, what is that? 6, 7 weeks? 7 weeks?
Yeah, yeah, 6 or 7 weeks.
Yep.
So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I'm really excited. If anyone has, tips or tricks for Amazon decorations that I can do for the gym to make it Christmassy and holiday themed without going super crazy and spending a ton of time, I would love to hear them. So if you're good with decorating your house or whatever, make sure you message me on 580 Barbell on Instagram, because I'm always looking for ways to make it more holiday spirit. But I think that's enough with nationals now. I do want to talk about the Rogue Invitational before we wrap up, because I think it's really cool. I think there's things to improve, certainly.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot I want to say about it, but I'm curious. I want to lead with this. I would love to hear from people that listen to this, because everyone that listens to this does strongman for the most part, besides my dad. But would you rather, from a spectator of strongman, would you rather World's Strongest Man, where you have to wait, but when it does come out, it's super done up for TV. It's quick, to the point. There's no real breaks in the action. Or would you rather have a more raw, uncut, but live Rogue Invitational?
Me, Rogue Invitational.
Yeah, yeah. I I tend to lean the same way, but I will say, man, the Rogue I like the Rogue Invitational because like I was busy all day and I can come back and I can just like me and Allie just fast forward through all of it and watch
Yep.
it all in like an hour because I
Yep.
don't there's only a couple CrossFit events I care about. Like I think it's
Right.
cooler. Dude, I tell you what, side note, whoever does the Rogue Invitational on the CrossFit side is obsessed with strongman. They love strongman. Like I don't
They're
know who
trying to
that
bring it
is.
in, yeah.
And I think it's so cool because
Mm-hmm.
CrossFit is functional fitness and strongman is also functional fitness. And I think the two are like just made to merge.
Yeah.
And they don't get your feathers up. Like, I
Right.
don't mean literally merge, but I mean, I think they're built to have like a cool carryover.
Yes.
I think if you look at what Furman did with like Clash on the Coast and like, years ago, like having that really fast paced, like 2 hour show with the 105 guys. And then what CrossFit's doing by adding a Husafel, an axle. I mean, dude, right now on my TV, I'm watching the live max deadlift.
Yep.
The CrossFit guys are doing max deadlift.
Yep.
They had sandbag. They had like the sandbag event.
Yep.
Last year they had an axle. They had sandbags last year. They, all this different stuff.
Yep.
But I just think it's so funny because whoever is doing the organizing, promoting, programming for the Rogue Invitational love strongman. So I think
it's a good marriage. Great Lake Strongest Man actually did that this year. They had a big CrossFit promotion and a big strongman promotion. It goes hand in hand well. So
yeah, I mean, dude. Also, hey, like you may not know a ton about strongman, but if you're at the Rogue Invitational, you can come watch strongman. Like in the downtime, and you get to see these. It can't not be fun to watch these like 400-pound dudes that are 6'9", like do this insane weight. Like I think that's awesome.
Right.
I mean, I know a lot of people last year. I'll be curious what the feedback is from this year, but a lot of people that were there were like, yeah, the strongman was awesome and it performed well. So I just it always comes up and it always bugs me when people are like get mad about CrossFit and strongman being like kind of closely related. It's like, dude, if you are serious about wanting strongman to grow, you should be thanking CrossFit for bringing us in, Rogue for bringing us in, because this is only more promotion for strongman.
Yeah. I mean, I think kind of going back to the live stream part, I mean, I don't see a negative because the best part was watching Hooper do the sandbag load and you see his raw emotions of him winning.
Sure. Yeah. No. I'm just curious what other people think because a big knock I saw on social media was that it's slow, and it's slow.
Yep,
it's slow,
no doubt.
And I think Rogue and CrossFit in general and they have a lot to learn about strongman still with setting weights, picking the correct weights.
Yep.
It's new to them. As far as this level of show, this is the second Rogue Invitational, right?
Yeah.
So,
is it the second or third?
It might be the third, actually.
I think it's the third.
Yeah,
but either way.
Yeah, regardless, it's still newish to them, and they don't do that for a full time. So, I would have there were some things I like to change. There was, I guess we could start with the huge controversy that's with the truck or the
I'm calling it a truck pull.
Well, yeah,
the sled pull.
What was it actually called? The bull pull or
the iron bull?
Yeah, the iron bull
or something like that.
Yeah. So okay, if you're just listening, hopefully you don't sound like super conspiracy theorists, but it was kind of taking our little strongman niche community where if you go and watch the Iron Bull, it was wood on metal.
Yeah.
And as everyone went, with the exception of one person who is the best person there, Mitch Hooper, as every person went, everyone got worse and worse. And they were saying because of, the wood reacting with the metal, with however the hell it happens, was, getting significantly harder.
Yeah. When wood heats up, it expands. Mm-hmm. That's the basis of it, right?
Right. So essentially if you go and look, hey, maybe that's true, and it very well could be. It'll be a
Yeah.
big learning experience for Rogue. I'm sure whether they're going to publicly talk about it, they will probably not bring that back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just interesting, and it started to buzz,
Yeah.
so.
And if you look at the 15-foot mark, I mean, it was noticeable. Everybody noticed it. When it hit the 15-foot mark, it got much harder.
Yeah.
And if you look, that's where the track actually joined for the next section. So I'm sure there was some of that too. Like you said, they're probably going to review the event, review the implement, either make it better and go through more testing, or they're not going to do it again. It's that simple.
For sure.
So,
and I will say, I will give props to Rogue. Like, man, with the weather this weekend, they had to battle through a lot of adversity.
Yep.
It sucks for the strongmen that trained like Figgle Fingers, didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But man, Rogue made it happen regardless. So props to them, dude. I mean, you do it at a baseball stadium in Texas this time of year, you're not expecting a lot of rain, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah.
And CrossFit suffered too with that, with a lot of delays and stuff.
Yep. Just the nature of the beast.
And then, dude, I mean,
with the live stream too, like people saying like it's slow. I mean, I get that, and I'm like, I understand, but strongman isn't a quick thing.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even slow for strongman. It was slow felt like for CrossFit too.
Well, the CrossFit events I feel like are just genuinely longer, right? Like they inherently.
But also what I will say is Rogue does it up, man. They're not. Yeah,
they do.
They don't have this
job.
They don't have the setup of like a local show where it's like, okay, let's go to the next event. It's like, nah, dude, this isn't just moving 2 axle bars.
No, they reset the whole platform.
Well, and I mean, dude, look at, we just talked about it, but the Iron Bull or whatever it's called, that is a spectacle of itself.
Yeah.
The Rogue coaster.
Yep.
Like, look at that thing, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
it's awesome.
That thing is legitimately, they're setting up essentially a freaking roller coaster.
Yep.
Even the sandbag implement thing, whatever the hell they were putting those in.
Yeah. It was like a seesaw.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, pretty cool.
And it's like, so it does require some setup.
Sure.
But it's like, man, if you think it was too slow, it's like, I mean, it is on a Friday and Saturday, just go do something else and then watch it all at once.
Right.
But
I like the option of being able to watch it live, like to be able to watch a playback, not sit and stare at a spreadsheet. And I get, we beat that point to death, so I don't want to go down that rabbit hole again.
No, but for sure.
It's antiquated, and I know it's because they're tied into TV deals, right? They have to keep it. Well, we get all that. But between not watching it live and watching it live, the live factor, real reactions, real performances, real struggles in live time or a playback time is still great. Like, that's awesome.
I don't care what anyone says. Waiting months to see World's Strongest Man when you can pretend you don't or whatever, but everyone knows who won.
Yep.
It ruins it for me.
Yep.
It ruins it. It's like, if you knew who won the Super Bowl, you probably wouldn't watch. That's
huge. You wouldn't.
It's the biggest show. What I think pretty much undoubtedly still World's Strongest Man. It's just the name of that title. It's always going to be such an elusive. And I think if you ask any of these guys what they'd want to win, it's World's Strongest Man for the
Absolutely
title, the history. Yep. And I get it. It's unfathomable money. It's life-changing money I'm sure they're getting from TV deals, but to me, it ruins it. And like you said, we've talked about it, but I love the Rogue. I love that it's on YouTube for free with great quality still, great announcing. To me, it's the Rogue all day.
Yep. It's definitely a step forward. It's a step forward in my book. So
I can tell you right now, in the last 3 years, the last 4 years, I haven't watched World's Strongest Man.
Very few episodes on playbacks. I mean, I never see it on the live release date. Whenever it first hits TV, it's always on replays. But I try to watch it. I mean, the production value is good.
Yeah, but I don't think I've sat down and watched the entire thing at all.
No.
I actually like watching the prelims because I know already who won. So I kind of like seeing how the prelims shook out.
Yeah.
Like how guys got through and stuff. But then it's even like with big laws and his wife do a YouTube video, and it's like I already know what. So yeah, no, that was just a question I had, and
I'm interested to see what people have to say.
Yeah, and regardless, the Rogue and the Shaw Classic and some other big shows, I think continue to push.
Yep, they're pushing
and
the ceiling.
and push. So, like World's Strongest Man can't get stagnant. I'm not saying they're getting stagnant. They just can't get stagnant. They have to keep doing cool stuff.
Yep.
Having the best athletes there.
Yep. I can tell you, man. What was Shaw's title? Strongest Man on Earth.
Strongest Man on Earth. I think that's.
I mean, hey, like that's a direct shot, if you ask me.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the guy's a World's Strongest Man alumni, right? Like we get that, but hey, he's like, I'm trying to make this a title too, right? So like if they go to sleep, man, he's gonna swoop right in.
Paying a lot, I'm happy Brian Shaw, as successful as he was, and arguably the greatest strongman of all time.
Yep,
there's an argument for it. That being said, I do think it's corny competing at your own show.
He's done with that though. So
that's.
I agree. Yeah,
I'm happy it's done because if I was doing this is a stretch to compare myself to Brian Shaw,
right?
Or my shows to Brian Shaw, but like if I was doing my own shows, you gotta like the human side of you think you're gonna pick events that you like. Even just as a promoter, I'll never do my own show, but I still pick events that I like.
Right.
So to me, it's like, but he's getting creative, the leg press, stuff like that.
Yeah, but he's setting up a platform for the future that is going to propel people. So if the beginning he competed at a couple of times, like, all right, whatever, like I'm not getting hung up on it.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, he's still one of the greatest strongmen of all time. So it's my thing is it's not like Brian isn't still competitive. Like he was competitive at World's Strongest Man this year. So
Yep. That's important.
I think that show will keep getting bigger and bigger.
Yep.
I think it's cool to see like that the qualification process for like you guys to be able to qualify, like just amateur super heavyweights to do an online qualifier and do it. So I mean it's cool. That Giants Live, the Giants Live tour wrapped up last weekend.
Was that the final?
Yeah, I believe so.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, because
I know the Stoltmans competed.
Yeah, and which it's so crazy to think about how much these guys compete.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I believe like they announced, who made it out of the tour and essentially would earn their invite to World's Strongest Man.
Yeah, they usually do announce that. Luke Richardson was one of them when he won England's.
Yeah. So, no, it's cool. I'll be excited to see. Where is World's Strongest Man this year? Is it in Myrtle Beach again?
I don't think it's been announced officially, but I believe it's in Myrtle again.
I thought it might be back in Sacramento, but Sacramento or Myrtle, yeah. So
if anybody can comment that would be great.
Myrtle felt like a hit this last year.
Yeah.
Felt like the first year ever with World's Strongest Man where it was like people were, maybe it's just because we live kind of.
I think it was because it was regional for us.
Yeah, probably. But man, there was like a ton of people that like.
Yeah, like it was drivable for us. It's at a beach, so like you can plan your vacation for it, right?
For sure.
Yeah, I mean they had a little bit of weather issue. I get it, but
yeah. What did you? I want to wrap up, but what was your because I just compared myself to Brian Shaw. Now I'm comparing you to everyone that did the Rogue Invitational, but. As a super heavyweight, what did you think about the weight selection for these guys? I thought a little light. But
are you talking about the log specifically?
The log, but also the sandbag, it was so fast.
Yeah, it was a sprint.
But it's still their last sandbag was 375.
Yeah, that's pretty light. But if we're being honest.
And the thing was it's not even necessarily light. It's light for that event because you're only moving it 5 feet.
Yeah.
For these guys.
Yeah.
The log.
I don't think the log's light. I really don't, because if you look at, I understand what they did the ladder, right? The ladder was last year. The final log was 400 pounds. If you look at the year before, 2020, 2022, it would have been. They did a 320 for reps.
Oh, okay.
So now that was in a minute, not 90 seconds. And that 90 seconds did make a difference. There were reps that we would otherwise would not have seen.
Yeah.
But if we're saying that 320 is acceptable for world's strongest man, I don't think it's crazy to think 360 is reasonable.
Yeah.
The sandbag's like probably a little light.
Yeah. Sometimes it's fun to watch guys get reps.
Yeah.
Like instead of,
Tom
the winner
was a machine.
I know. And Hooper hey, it's in the rules, but Hooper would benefited by the rule of, I don't know if you caught this, but you had 90 seconds, but if it was off the ground, like Hooper almost took 2 minutes.
Yep.
Because
he played it, but
played by the rules. Dude, 100%.
Played by the rules.
Yeah. So like if the log was off the drop pads
before a minute 30 was expired,
you had all the time in the world to press it.
Yep.
So I mean, he played it like a fiddle, man. He picked it up at like 128.
Yep.
Took his time in the lap, and he got that 9th rep.
He got it.
He would have lost.
That got him the sole placing for second. So
and he would have lost because Stoltman only beat him, he only beat Stoltman by 2 overall points.
Right.
So he would have lost the show, and Tom Stoltman would have won.
Right.
So Hooper's a weird bastard, man. Like he
never wins an event. He's just good at everything.
Everything he does seems so unconventional, but it works.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so crazy. Like if one of my clients picks sandbags in the opposite direction, I would tell them don't do that.
When he did that, I was like, what the?
But he's doing it and he's winning. So it's like, I
think to your point though, if that's not a 350-pound sandbag, he's not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, it was close. And
probably a little light.
Yeah, I will say about the logs, there were some really bad down calls.
Yeah,
but
there were some iffy ones in there.
I hate blaming the athlete ever. Like for that.
I don't.
It's like, dude, you're never gonna.
They got the call. They got the call. Yep.
Right. 100%.
We've talked about it before, dude. You throw a pitch down the middle and somebody calls it a strike.
Yep.
And you're the pitcher. You're happy. If you're the batter, you're mad.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. So no, I do think that's the only thing about a lighter, and I mean, I'm saying a 360 logs light, but those guys get repping it out. They kind of jump that down call because it's so fast for them.
Yep.
It's natural.
Yep.
And also I will say, I just judge max log all day. It's hard as hell to judge.
Yep.
It's just so no, that was the only other thing. Did you have any other takeaways from the Rogue Invitational?
It was awesome.
Yeah, man.
I'd love it every year. I would
like to go. Year. I think it would be so cool to go.
Yeah. It would be great to go.
But man, they do it big. What are the men's deadlift at right now? The men are max deadlift right now. They're 565. Which
I love it.
I absolutely hate that strongmen are going to chirp it because these guys have done freaking 5 or 6 events already this weekend and are good at literally everything.
Well, and guess what? They're pulling that bar. The girl that won, I don't remember her name.
I can't remember either, but
she pulled 18 deadlifts.
Dude.
18 deadlifts. Her last 5 jumps were 5 pounds apart.
Yeah, dude.
So
but also these people, they are just such good athletes.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Like you watch Friday morning, they're doing a ski erg into a freaking monkey bars.
Yep.
And now it's Saturday night and they're max deadlifting.
Yep.
And these guys are like my weight class and they beat most of the guys in deadlift. So it's
actually kind of funny because I watched the sandbag load like we talked about.
Yeah.
And then it said, "Oh, coming up, max deadlift," and I'm like, "Wait, they're doing a max." My wife does CrossFit. I think most people know that have listened. Right. And I was like, "Wait, the ladies are doing a max deadlift?" She said, "Yes." I'm like, "Put it on." I love max deadlift events. Yeah. They're so hype. They're so exciting. The end pulls whenever everybody's fighting and gritting their teeth. It's awesome. I love that. So I put it on. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
No.
But, so comment, let us know. What did you think of the Rogue Invitational? Do you like it in this format? Versus World's Strongest Man. And if you had any last things about Nationals, comment them. Appreciate everyone. Yep. It is so crazy. Appreciate everyone that we met, talked to, finally got to meet in person. It's just so awesome. So we appreciate the support so much. 150 episodes, 150 more to go. And and many more than that. So we'll see you guys next week for episode 151.
Later.
Thank y'all.